Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised I wasn't asked why I'm convinced Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block, on a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At Enchain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts, basically ones that can run operating systems. That's all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Alrighty people, it looks like we are live. Yeah, great stuff. Welcome to Satoshi TV, aka Bitcoin SV TV, aka It's Just Bitcoin. Today's day is Monday, the 19th of July, 2021. Let's be honest, just got through, I've got some articles I want to go through. But the first one we'll go through is this one by City AM. Shadows, almost like, front cover posing there. Looking very cool, I have to say. Very cool. So let's read through this City AM article. It was titled, "How do you solve a problem like Bitcoin scaling?" Check it out. This is published on Saturday the 17th of July. More options, reject all, save and exit, thank you. Here we go. Right, so how do you get rid of that? There we go. So let's have a look. Here we go. So those who have been in the crypto sphere, yep, there we go. How do you solve a problem like Bitcoin scaling? Here we go. Those who've been in the crypto sphere for more than 5 minutes have undoubtedly encountered discourse on the Bitcoin scaling problem. The limited capacity offered by the default 1 megabyte block size on the Bitcoin network has been the subject of ongoing debate, with disagreement on the best way to scale the network to enable Bitcoin to become a fundamental component for our global financial and payment infrastructure. The best publicized solutions to the Bitcoin scaling problem, at least to date, have centered around layer 2 solutions. We all know that's a load of crap. That is, those that sit above the blockchain and don't transact directly on it. And in other words, don't give the miners any rewards or fees, such as the Lightning Network and Strike, because they're absolutely worthless. These solutions take transactions off the blockchain and away from miners. Layer 1 in favor of operating on cheaper networks that really hardly cost anything, and all the money that's on it goes to Blockstream, known as sidechains, which are later settled on the first layer. For Enchain Chief Technical Officer and Technical Director of the Bitcoin SV infrastructure team, Steve Shadders, the pursuit of second layer solutions to solve scaling not only overcomplicates matters, it moves away from the core benefits and value proposition of a blockchain. Instead, Shadders contends that Bitcoin could always scale at the first layer, it was just a matter of letting it. Last month in Zurich at the biannual CoinGeek conference, Shadows gave a live demonstration of what he called Terranode, a multi-chain Bitcoin node implementation built for scale, as it actively processed more than 50,000 transactions per second in real time directly on the Bitcoin SV blockchain. First layer solutions. Compared to status quo on Bitcoin network, where first layer solutions are limited to around 7 transactions per second, it is seemingly impossibly large. It is a seemingly impossibly large increase. Hold on. Just lost that place again. There we go. The key approach is scaling differently. The traditional view of scaling blockchains is to scale vertically. That is, by increasing the power of each node to keep up with a large volume of transactions. Terranode changes this stance, instead scaling horizontally across several commodity machines. This is how most of the world achieves scaling in traditional architectures, thinking of the Googles and Amazons of the world, by simply spreading the workload across multiple machines in the most efficient manner possible, Shadows explains. Terranode applies this. Where's that gone? Terranode applies this philosophy to Bitcoin and is a reimagining of how to implement the Bitcoin protocol. Several different tasks need to be carried out by a Bitcoin node, most of which are completely independent of each other. That means that there is no reason why they need to sit on a single machine, as there are no cross dependencies between these individual pieces of work. The Terranode implementation that Shadows showed is underpinned by the Terranode Open Framework, a technology-agnostic model and methodology based on configurable pipelines, essentially an ordered series of tasks unbound to specific machines, enabling it to scale horizontally across clusters of worker nodes. Terranode applies this methodology to Bitcoin, enabling the efficient allocation of tasks and resources for a node within a configurable and adaptable system. Simply put, this means that Terranode itself scales too. Higher transaction throughput is enabled by adding more worker nodes to the clusters and allocating resources across them. For most, CoinGeek Zurich will be the first time the phrase Terranode would have entered their vocabulary. But for Shadows, the live demonstration represented the product of better part of a decade's work building and developing an idea that originated late one night while in his native Brisbane, Australia. Lying in bed, it must have been nearly 2 a.m, quote here, I was thinking about the concept of a microservices architecture and how Bitcoin dependencies are internally structured, he says. I mean, who doesn't think about that at 2 a.m. in the morning? Go Shadows. Like a total nerd, I had a big, like a total nerd, I had a big whiteboard in my bedroom, and when it clicked for me, I leapt out of bed, just started scrawling on it. There was a full moon, and I hadn't even had the wherewithal to turn on a light. I was just frantically drawing boxes. My wife woke up minutes later and asked me what the hell I was doing, before pointing out that I had no pants on, and I may want to address that before continuing with anything else. What Shadows now endearingly refers to as the whiteboard incident, and the concepts which emerged from it didn't immediately gain traction. They did, however, provide the impetus of his move to London to not long after join nChain, where he was tasked with developing the next generation of Bitcoin node software. I already had much of what I needed to proceed with that project, he recalls. I've previously done plenty of work in Bitcoin J, a Java implementation of the Bitcoin protocol. Seriously. To implement large parts of the protocol functionality, and developed mining pool software that was used by nearly half the world's Bitcoin miners in its heyday. What I didn't have was a team of close enough in physical proximity to be able to work together efficiently. That part of the equation was solved when Shadows arrived in London with nChain. Excuse me. Assembling a team of programmers and engineers who shared his broad vision for Bitcoin scaling and challenged how exactly it could be put into practice. Guiding principles. When we had our first group workshops at nChain in 2019, we wrote down a few guiding principles, one of which was to assume no bounds on available resources, that every system would be pushed orders of magnitude beyond what we are thinking right now, he explained. That way of thinking meant that a few of the ideas and data structures that I'd had in mind, which I realized did have a scaling ceiling, it was just that it was far beyond anything I could ever be conceivable. I thought could ever be conceivable indeed. I could ever be conceivably needed. Sorry about this. But as time has progressed and we thought about new ways that Bitcoin can be used, those assumptions have crumbled, and now we're thinking about millions, even billions transactions per second. Well, this innovation comes as Bitcoin continues to endure body blows in the media over its resource consumption and environmental impact. Shadders argues that scaling Bitcoin puts these arguments to rest, as the efficiency and potential use cases for the network grows exponentially, shifting the value position entirely. The quote here, the energy consumption of Bitcoin has very little relationship with the number of transactions being processed. If you're handling 1 million transactions per second, then you have 200,000 times better efficiency in energy cost per transaction than the current average of 5 transactions per second seen on BTC, he adds. Yeah, I mean, let's have a quick look at that now. Remind ourselves. I did look at this morning. So let's have a look at this. So CoinDance. So the hash rate, they're obviously the computing power. 0.48% of the hash rate used on the Bitcoin network is now responsible for processing 75.49% of all transactions and 91% of the overall data flowing through the chain. It's huge. So it just goes to show you that's where the efficiency is. All this hash rate on 7 transactions a second is just such a load of crap. Utter poppycock, you know. And talking about things improving, look at this just quickly. For anybody who didn't see my chart show. Here we go. Transactions last 24 hours. Look at this. Whoa, Bitcoin now with 25.3%. We have surpassed XRP. Oh, what a result. What a result. Look at that. I wonder if this is going to be maintained. I think it might be. Because of crypto fights. I mean, look at that. So Ethereum's only got 35.3 and Bitcoin's now got 25.3. Good grief. We are literally snapping on the heels. Let's have a look at this bit info charts here. Come on. Here we go. Transactions. So we'll do this over 3 months now. We'll add XRP in there. So XRP is in yellow. Oh, I wonder if we should be above them. Not quite showing yet. Tomorrow we will be. Wow, that's amazing. Literally, there's only Ethereum left. This is amazing. I'm chuffed to bits with that. Absolutely chuffed to bits with that. Yeah, so he's exactly right in what he said. So the per transaction cost is what is important here. An individual transaction represents a certain amount of utility, and we don't mind using energy to create utility. No one would argue that we shouldn't use energy to run a hospital because it provides enormous value for the people using it and for society at large. Similarly, we can define what the actual utility of Bitcoin is. Then we have a metric to measure what we're getting from the energy that we spend, and can ultimately determine the value of the network. That utility can only be realized with Bitcoin that can scale without bounds. Absolutely. Apologies for my reading there. My throat is really tickling me like crazy at the moment, so I'm struggling to get through it without coughing. But there we go. What a fantastic article that is there. Brilliant. Yeah, loving that. So let's go on to this one next. This was MDAO BN, so that's Market Business News, by Alexander Joel. So this was published just 2 days ago. BSV working with exchanges to restore services after malicious attacks. Bitcoin Association, the Switzerland-based global industry organization, advancing the adoption of BSV blockchain for enterprise. Excuse me a minute again. Advancing the adoption of Bitcoin SV, a blockchain for enterprise and government, has issued a statement in the form of answers to the most frequently asked questions about the recent illegal attacks on the BSV network. So quotes here: the recent attacks against BSV blockchain, just like against any financial system, are illegal. We respond accordingly, said the Bitcoin Association and Bitcoin SV Node Network, or Bitcoin SV Node implementation teams have been working to investigate, implement response measures, talk with exchanges and more. Bitcoin Association's frequently asked questions follow a public statement on July the 8th that outlined a zero-tolerance approach for illegal attacks. In response to the attacks, several exchanges, as a temporary measure, restricted withdrawals and deposits and trading functionalities, a matter which the association has confirmed that it continues to work around the clock with exchanges to restore facilities as soon as possible. In fact, the first exchange, including Gravity, has already restarted reintroducing services. Great. Loving that. Each exchange will make its own decisions about when and how to re-enable BSV services. At this stage, we cannot provide exact timings for when BSV deposits, withdrawal or trading facilities will be active at your chosen exchange. Bitcoin Association and its representatives remain in contact with exchanges and will share any news and updates on this front, as and when it becomes available, the association said. Block withhold or reorganization attacks, not a 51% attack. The attacks occurred on June 24th and July 1st, 6th and 9th. Because block reorganizations are a feature of the Bitcoin system, when they occur organically and are used to align participants and nodes on the network. The first two attacks are not immediately detected as malicious in nature. There was no need to investigate block reorganizations as they occur normally on the network. This type of attack, known as a block withholding attack, involves a malicious actor creating a chain of competing blocks, rewritten to the benefit of the attacker, i.e. containing double spends in parallel with the correct chain. These malicious blocks are created in secret, then released all at once to orphan the correct blocks from the honest nodes, the association explained in the frequently asked questions. The Bitcoin Association and its development arm, the Bitcoin SV infrastructure team, immediately took reactive and preventative measures to mitigate the effects of the attacks. These measures include coordinating with miners and transaction processors on the Bitcoin SV network to implement both reactive and preventative measures, including fraud detection tools that enable ecosystem participants and partners to move expeditiously in the face of attacks. Since these measures have been initiated, there have so far been no further attacks on the network, the association said. The attacker, although Bitcoin Association has not verified the real-world identity of the unknown miner responsible for the attacks, it has found that it goes by the moniker Zulu Pool, and the association has stated that it does not believe that the malicious actor is the same Zulu Pool that has long been associated with the Hathor miner of the same name. The Zulu Pool impersonator is also most probably the same malicious actor that perpetrated the same attacks on the Bitcoin ABCA chain last March. Aside from using the same handle, the BCHA attack also had similarities in methodologies and characteristics with the reorganization attacks on BSV. Actions being taken. On top of being in consistent communication with exchanges to restore BSV services, and an extensive investigation is underway, and the Bitcoin Association is in the process of filing a criminal complaint. Further legal actions will also be taken as evidence is collected and verified. BSV is continuing its operations with the network back running as usual. The network is processing due to the network is progressing due to massive scaling and the Terranode project, which will be released before the end of the year. Is also continuing as planned, enabling the network to complete over 50,000 transactions per second, a feat that breaks the records within the cryptocurrency world. Loving that. Honestly, like I'm so excited. I think this year, in fact, I've just never been excited. I can just feel it. Even though the price is going down, it's just like, oh, I can pick one up. Oh, shout out Arcade Rob. Thank you for joining me. I do apologise for my state of trying to read today. My throat is just absolutely really annoying me. But the show must go on. That's what it's all about. Yeah, there's been a few wins recently for BSV. Let's see what else there was in tech here. Okay, and editorials. Is Binance being delisted by the banks? We hope so, because we know it's an absolute scummy outfit. You know, honestly, absolutely horrendous. Let's see what else there is. Interviews, vents. Yeah, all right. Let's have a quick look at that Binance one then, shall we? Where was it? Must have been in tech. Seriously? Editorials. There we go. Check it out. Is Binance being delisted by the banks? More than 2 years ago, Binance made a spectacle of their delist BSV move. Back then, when we called out the lies behind the campaign. Look at Binance nowadays, haunted by increasing regulatory pressure, delisted themselves by renowned banks, Barclays and Santander, public FCA and FSA warnings concerning Binance Markets Limited and the Binance Group. However, what really caught my attention lately was the tweet by Binance's CEO, CZ. Unpopular point. Baldy. What a short... that short tweet has a lot in it. First of all, it was the BSV blockchain space that had the build mantra instead of the HODL narrative since day one. In Bitcoin SV, early on, we warned about readers of the HODL mentality. To be exact, it was foremost Dr. Wright who called out the nonsense gambling attitude in the BTC and other digital assets, pointing out that Bitcoin could be used as cash to value data. So CZ is less HODL and more biddled now. How come? What's next? Dr. Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto? Could well be, that'd be quite funny. Secondly, why is CZ saying unpopular opinion? To build things, to create things, to actually do something with the technology behind digital assets is not unpopular. It is what it is designed for. CZ's Twitter audience is probably 99% clueless amateur traders that try to dump their crypto bags on a greater fool, and 1% could be following him hoping for a giveaway in the BNB or the like. So with these kinds of people, to build something seems to be considered a controversial approach. Keeping this in mind, it is refreshing to watch the CoinGeek Zero conference again and the experience that Bitcoin was actually invented for. Within Bitcoin BSV, topics like improving sustainability and saving of natural resources using the BSV blockchain or e-government running on the original Bitcoin are being discussed, and implemented solutions are already live. To build an unpopular opinion, not in Bitcoin SV, being delisted by banks should be a problem for Binance, but being delisted by decency, maturity, and lack of respect for the own Twitter audience is a bigger problem, though. I'm Binancean. Dear oh dear. What a joke. So it said here, buy Bitcoin now. NFA, not financial advice. To me, that seems like indeed giving financial advice and then saying not financial advice though, buddy. I feel sorry for people following him and trusting Binance. If one only reads Binance's or sees these tweets, the information about the regulatory pressure and delisting by banks is not really getting through to the customer. This is what Binance CZ should be tweeting about on a daily basis. Consumer warnings on Binance Markets Limited and the Binance Group. Yeah, absolutely. We are about to enter a phase that could be defined as delisting of crypto as a whole, but better learn the crucial difference between Bitcoin and crypto to navigate through this next phase. Absolutely, absolutely. Loving that, loving that. And let's have a look at what this Cointelegraph is going on about. It's usually about price, but I mean, I did see one that looked kind of funny. What's this? Arsenal FC to launch AFC fan token. Oh my god. China is pumping money out of US with Bitcoin Axie Infinity. Axie's almost half it. Axie's almost half its value following 971% bull run. Bloody hell. 10x. Indian regulator pros crypto. Yeah, Grayscale set sights an institutional DeFi fund. What a joke that is. More scamming going on. Ethereum documentary features Vitalik Buterin raising 1.9 million in 3 days. God, easy when you got money in it. Here we go. Bitcoin price dives below 31k after lowest week close in 8 months. Oh, these shitcoiners are not going to be happy about that, are they? That's all they care about is price. It's doom and gloom for Bitcoin. That's Coolcoin. A day after the feared Grayscale unlocking event, which altcoins performing? With altcoins performing even worse. Oh, look at this. Price is going down. Could be with to pick one up. Fresh pain for BTC price. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed BTC USD hitting local lows of $30,630 on Bitstamp on Monday. Coming a day after Coolcoin's lowest weekly close since December 2020. The price action underscored the severity of a market with low volume and network fundamentals still in their recovery phase. Traders had broadly predicted a move downwards after Coolcoin had failed to hold onto support levels higher up, with the integrity of $30,000 itself being called into question. Volatility finally for Coolcoin. In-house trader and analyst Michael van der Pope summarizes. I can't be asked to read the rest of that. I really can't. I mean, it's all price, absolute bollocks, you know. It's crystal balls, it's magic tea leaves, it's ascending triangles, magic carpets, rubbing of magic lamps. Absolute crap. They have no fundamental understanding of Bitcoin whatsoever. Like, literally none. Again, CoinDesk all about the price. They said Coolcoin drops as investors buy 22k and 20k puts. Despite the pickup in demand for 20k puts, the option market remains based bullish for the long term. Well, you know, again, it's all price, absolute crap. I mean, like, if they saw the charts that we just looked at, like, we know where it's heading, the whole lot. You know, the entire like $1.3 trillion market. You know, it's all speculative money, and because that money, the speculative money, is looking for the real value. And the real value is BSV, the genuine Bitcoin. That's it. And they have no idea. We know, and we know what's coming because they'll be able to see it. But jeepers, you know. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, Bitcoin down 10%, Ethereum down 15% over 7 days. Again, more price. Who cares? Dogecoin fan sues Coinbase over false and misleading sweepstakes. What a joke. Huh. Yeah, not really too interested in any of those. Let's see what Bitcoin.com news has got here. Billionaire fund manager Jeffrey Gorlach convinced Bitcoin will fall below 23k US dollar is doomed. So Bitcoin's going to fall, as in like Coolcoin is going to fall below 23. Yeah, more than that, mate. You're going to lose everything. John McAfee from 100 million to nothing. Biographer claims John McAfee was broke when he died. Well, I don't really get him. Yeah. I think they're just trying to, trying to make his death sound more, fit their political narrative. Really, I don't think it's I don't think he, well, best not speculate really. But look at this, Malaysia flattens seized Bitcoin mining rigs with steamroller, over 1,000 machines demolished. They are going to be kicking themselves from doing that. What an absolutely stupid thing to do. It just goes to show you that the governments don't have a clue. Governments, regulators, no clue what Bitcoin is. Absolutely none. Still trying to deny it. Yeah, we want our paper money. We want to be able to print it. We don't want anybody else to print it. Well, these machines don't print it. They mine it. That's the whole point. It's a competitive process. That's what makes Bitcoin a commodity, and not fiat currency. Honestly, jeepers. IMF, World Bank, BIS recommended countries work together on CBDCs to enhance cross-border payments. Really, it's all about cross-border payments because they've only got the SWIFT system at the moment. But Dolce & Gabbana to launch high fashion-inspired NFT collectibles in Venice. Oh dear, seriously. Well, I've been going for 30 minutes and my throat is still held out, so I just want to rest it there. So that'll do. But we can do ding a dong. Let's get it on. Just Arcade Rob in the house at the moment. Here we go, mate. Let me just ding use a dong. Arcade Rob, you'll have to remind me what your handle is, mate. Here we go. Is it just Arcade Rob? Here we go. Arcade. Is it Arcade _ Rob? Not Rib. Rob. Oh, Keith Fellows in the house as well. Arcade Rob is not registering there. So we'll have Keith Fellows. There we go. Got it. Swiping to send. Snuck in there. Nice one, Keith. There we go. Got it. That'll do. My throat is absolutely killing me. Right, I hope you enjoyed the show. As ever, be aware. Oh, Pikes. Got it. Of course. Here we go. Pikes. There we go. Got it. Nice one, Rob. Swiping to send. On the way. Hey, sweet. Alright, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. As ever, be aware. Take care. Stay safe out there. Joy giving. Catch you guys later. Get paid for posting your pics on Relica. Download the app now at www.getrelica.com. Get your tweet etched on Twitch, forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. Do it today at www.jointwitch.com. BuyBSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Support independent content creators on micropayment platforms such as Streamanity, Twitch and Relica. We should profit from our data, not the large corporations who track, monitor and sell it. If you enjoy the Bitcoin content that I produce, please support me by heading over to www.satoshi.tv, where you can keep up to date with all the latest news, gossip and content as it's created. Thanks very much. To get started in Bitcoin, go to freebsv.com, where you can claim your free Bitcoin. Then head over to Twitter and follow @IamSatoshi, where you can take part in his very generous and world famous free giveaways. The future of advertising meets the power of Bitcoin at Tonic Pow. Get paid for posting advertising campaigns to your social media profiles. Go to www.tonicpowads.com.